Good morning. It's Wednesday, September 3rd. Here's what we're working on.
It's Good Neighbor Day. Jean's Flower Shop on Hamilton Mountain will be handing out free roses starting at 7 a.m.
So this is what I think about Crown Royal. That's what they could do.
Premier Doug Ford had an extreme reaction to the closure of a Crown Royal bottling plant.
And Prime Minister Mark Carney gets set to meet with his cabinet amid a trade war and a looming budget. Thanks so much for joining us. 6 o'clock on what for some is a first day back to school. For others, it's day 2. And Brian and Rick, you know what I noticed as I was fixing my tea just before the show? It's so dark out there.
It is, yes.
You know, just a few weeks ago, you go into the canteen just before the show, and the sun's just coming out, and it's beautiful.
Sky was nice and light, and we got up early with us, you know, that kind of thing. And a while ago, it was up before the show even started, but no, not anymore. We're getting close to the summer officially ends on the 22nd of September, so we're looking at less and less daylight. I think we got about 13 hours and maybe 4 to 5 minutes of daylight today, so it gets less and less this time of year, and I know I'm going to get hate mail for that because people don't like it when I talk about the days getting shorter, but they are, so that's, you know, nothing you can do about it. So I think the sun comes up this morning at about 6:45, so we're still over 40 minutes to sunrise, but we will see the sun today. It's going to be a gorgeous day for the first day of school for a lot of students in the Halton area going back. Yesterday was the first for others, but sunny and 26 today, humidex of 29 degrees, so it's going to be warm today. Tonight the showers, thunderstorms could roll in. Tomorrow we'll get more, and we could get some heavy downpours, and we'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. Check on traffic this morning. 403 Waterdown Road looking fine, so it's moving nicely. Of course, we got to get used to more volume earlier in the morning now. Let's go to MTO traffic camera. I want to show you this particular shot. Oh, you can just see across the top of your screen there. Look at the light coming up. It's starting, but not quite there yet. So the sunrise will look good this morning. So, but nothing on traffic there. Top of the other Skyway, the Burlington Skyway looks good. Brodie Road, no problem. So nothing in traffic right now. So details on both weather and traffic as usual. We'll check them coming up. Right now, the news.
Okay, kind of a feel-good story to start off with here. A flower shop on Hamilton Mountain is continuing an annual tradition of giving away roses to brighten people's day. Simone Gavros joins us from outside of Jean's Flower Shop.
Well, and at the flower shop here on Upper Wellington has been preparing all week for this annual event. And this is something they've been doing for over 20 years now. So doors are going to open starting at 7 a.m. So far, everything is very quiet, but usually those things start to pick up with people lining up ready to get their hands on some free roses. Now, last year, they had over 800 dozen roses to give out. Yes, 800 dozen. And the idea is you get a free dozen roses, you keep one for yourself, and then you share the rest with friends, family, and of course your neighbors. Now you're supposed to spread the happiness across Hamilton today. Maybe give a rose to your kid to give to their teacher, or give it to the employee at the Tim's drive-thru. They've got all kinds of colors to choose from, including the traditional red, but also orange, white, and yellow. Jean's Flower Shop is also collecting donations for Neighbor to Neighbor Food Bank, so bring a non-perishable item if you can. Now again, doors open here at 7 a.m. and flowers will be here while supplies last. For now, things back over to you, Rick.
Thank you, Simone. Hamilton Fire and Police are on the scene of a blaze at a flooring store on the mountain. Police say the call at Bucko Flooring came in just after 2:30 this morning. There were no reports of anyone inside. At this point, police say it's not clear what caused the fire, and it's too soon to say whether it's suspicious or not. We'll have more details as they become available.
Hamilton police are looking for a man accused of sexually assaulting 2 women at the Centre on Barton Shopping Plaza. Both incidents happened on Sunday, August 24th, near Barton and Kenilworth. They say a man approached the women, had a brief conversation with them, then touched them in a sexual manner. Police believe there may be other victims. They're looking for a black man in his 30s. He's about 6'2 to 6'4 with a heavy build. He was wearing dark jogging pants, a burgundy t-shirt, and was carrying a dark gym bag.
After 4 stores in Oakville had their windows smashed over the Labor Day weekend, Halton police have released an image of a suspect. He's white with dark hair, a beard and mustache. He was wearing dark pants, a hoodie and black gloves and was riding a black e-scooter. Police say the stores damaged were all in the Bronte Harbor area of Oakville.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Toronto today for a 2-day cabinet meeting. It comes ahead of the fall sitting of Parliament. The meetings will focus on fast-tracking major project approvals. Ministers will also focus on building more affordable housing, expanding Canada's defence industry, and lessening the impacts of U.S. tariffs. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has said he believes that Donald Trump's going to grow more aggressive on trade this fall and won't wait for the official 2026 date to reopen the Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement, or CUSMA. Now, much of the cross-border trade is currently shielded by CUSMA. Still, many Canadian industries are being hampered by Trump's separate sectoral tariffs on steel, aluminum, copper, and vehicles. CUSMA is protecting Canada from Trump's Liberation Day tariffs and fentanyl duties, which a U.S. Court of Appeals found exceeded the powers that Trump used to impose them. The appeals court left the tariffs in place until October 14th, so the Trump administration could take the case to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Assembly of First Nations annual General Assembly is set to kick off this morning in Winnipeg, where the federal government's major infrastructure legislation is going to be debated. The bill, which passed in June, has seen strong opposition from some First Nations leaders and community members who fear it will infringe on their inherent rights. National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nepinick says the Assembly will hear diverse opinions, including those from First Nations leaders who are in support, those who are reluctant, and some who lack information. While the parent company of Crown Royal is closing an Ontario plant, it is not pulling out of Canada altogether. The news still didn't sit well with Premier Doug Ford.
So this is what I think about Crown Royal.
A whiskey bottling plant in Amherstburg, south of Windsor, will be shut down in February, and 250 people will be forced out of work. But the parent company, Diageo, says it remains committed to Canada. Diageo says, quote, Crown Royal will continue to be mashed, distilled, and aged in Canada, just as it has been since 1939. It's going to keep its Canadian headquarters and warehousing in the GTA and maintain other bottling and distilleries in bottling facilities and distilleries in Manitoba and Quebec. A new report warns Canada has a generation at risk. The latest Raising Canada report finds more than 13% of children were living in poverty by the end of last year, and more than 70% of teens and preteens experienced bullying. The report says social media and artificial intelligence are escalating the harms children and teens face every day, including having a big impact on their mental health. The founder of Children First Canada says parents and caregivers need to talk with their kids about their challenges.
Don't take, the easy answer, oh, I'm okay, or everything's fine. Dig deeper. Talk about the things that they're seeing and experiencing online. Talk about what's happening in their classrooms. Talk about their hopes and their fears.
That's Sarah Austin of Children First Canada. She says those honest conversations will help find what it takes to make their lives better.
Time for Sportsline. The Hamilton Cardinals' quest for an inter-county baseball championship has come to an end.
With that Hamilton Cardinals team in that playoff series against Barrie, 11 errors.
Deep drive in the left center field. That ball is gone! A 2-run home run for Francisco Hernandez. Blows this game open. It's 5-0.
Francisco Hernandez went deep, and Juan Benitez allowed just 1 run over 8 innings as Barrie beat the Cards 5-1 to sweep their best-of-5 semifinal series. The win pushes the defending champion Baycats into the IBL final after they outscored Hamilton 17-2 in their 3-game sweep. In last night's other semifinal matchup,
I don't know. I wish I knew. Hupe, a drive, left field. It is gone!
Brandon Hupe smashed a 2-run blast in the bottom of the 6th to guide Welland to a 5-4 win over Guelph. That gives the Jackfish a 2-1 lead in their semifinal series. Welland can advance to the final with a win in Guelph tonight. Well, the Blue Jays returned to their winning ways last night in Cincinnati, and it was a familiar face who delivered in the clutch.
The Blue Jays have 2 of the 5 American League hitters. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here.
Towering fly ball to left center, and can you believe it? George Springer has done it again.
Yeah, believe it. George Springer went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs, 3 RBI, powering Toronto past the Reds 12-9. Springer led off the ball game by hitting his 25th home run of the year. Bo Bichette and Dalton Varsho also reached the bleachers with big blasts of their own. The Jays scored 4 runs in each of the first and second innings, and it's a good thing too because starter Jose Barrios allowed 6 runs in the first 2 frames. And battled closer Jeff Hoffman allowed only 1 hit in the 9th to lock down his 30th save of the season. The rubber match goes tonight. Well, it appears Argonauts quarterback Chad Kelly is getting ready to return to the field for the first time since suffering a broken leg in the CFL East Final last November. Kelly shared this video on his Instagram page with the words, "The Comeback," and the date, September 13th, 2025. That's the date of Toronto's next game. Novak Djokovic has reached his record-tying 14th U.S. Open semifinal with a 6-3, 7-5, 3-6, 6-4 victory over American Taylor Fritz. The 24-time major champ improved to 11-0 all-time against Fritz and moves the Joker into a showdown against Carlos Alcaraz, who ousted Yuri Lehecka 6-4, 6-2, 6-4. Canadian Leylah Fernandez and American Venus Williams lost their women's doubles quarterfinal match, but Ottawa's Gabriela Dabrowski and New Zealand's Erin Routliffe have advanced to the semis. Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime plays his quarterfinal matchup against Alex de Minaur later on this morning. The Maple Leafs have signed goalie Dennis Hildeby to a 3-year contract extension. It has an average annual value of just over $841,000. The 24-year-old Swede spent most of last season with the AHL Marlies and started 6 games for the Leafs. The Dundas Real McCoys of the AAA Allen Cup Hockey League will be celebrating their 25th season in style. The team has unveiled an alternate jersey that is highlighted by a new anniversary logo. The 3-time Allen Cup champions opened their season November 7th versus Wentworth.
Come on, shall we do this? Why not? It's the 3rd of September here. We've got a Wednesday morning going. No sun yet, but we will see the sun today. 12 minutes after 6 o'clock, by the way, is the time. Looking at traffic, really not a lot going on so far this morning. Traffic is starting to build. Construction's coming to an end. Nothing here at the 403 and Waterdown Road. That's one of our exclusive cameras. To some MTO traffic cameras. We'll start in St. Catharines, Garden City Skyway. The east camera this time doing fine. No problems at Nikola Tesla Boulevard. 403 Junction with Brant looks good. East of Royal Windsor, so Toronto-bound lanes coming towards us as you approach the Ford plant there. And Cooksville Creek through Mississauga, no problems this morning. So take it carefully, please. Of course, kids are back in school. Halton is back in school today. We had the day off yesterday, much to Emily's chagrin. She was going, why can't Halton go back yesterday? But nope, they're back today. So let's start off with the temperature that we have at the moment. Temperature has just fallen to 13 degrees. The winds are light. The humidity is up there. So with light winds, high relative humidity, possible ground fog, yes, we do have some of that this morning, even though the skies are fairly clear. For school today, 26 degrees today. What a day. Lovely sunshine. Factor in the humidity, it'll feel like 29 degrees. Bit of a southerly breeze, but a high UV index today, and moderate air quality risk for the day today. Not quite so good as it was yesterday, so we've moved into the moderate category. We have that southerly flow. It's very light, and we'll have the sunshine for the day today. Tonight, that approaching frontal boundary will bring us chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight. Could be 5 millimeters of precipitation. Tomorrow, possible 10 to 15 millimeters as showers and thunderstorms go through early in the day, and then we'll start to notice some clearing for the day later. So look at the temperatures today, 26 and 27 degrees. We'll take that in the sunshine. So a beautiful day today. Tonight, we get that instability starting to push in. So temperatures anywhere from 15 to 17, a little cooler away from the lake. And then tomorrow, temperatures, yeah, a fair bit cooler, 19 and 20 degrees. That cold front goes through, triggers off the instability, 10 to 15 millimeters possible during the day tomorrow. As the day progresses, progresses, we'll start to see a little more sunshine, so we'll get some clearing. So out the door, third morning of September, sky is clear, but we do have some ground fog. Temperature right now sitting at 13. Now, of course, we'll look long range coming up. Annette, Rick.
Okay, after the break, we are going to take a look at the latest housing report and the encouraging news that it shows. 6:17 on your Wednesday morning. Yes, that's what it is. You know, overseas trading this morning. The Canadian dollar down another 10 basis points to 72.47 cents U.S. Gold's up more than $14 an ounce, and crude is down 19 cents at $65.40 U.S. a barrel. In midday trading in Europe, markets are up across the board. Not a lot, though, in London, Frankfurt and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were down across the board in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. And on North American markets, the TSX rose 51 points yesterday, led by gains in Canada's basic materials sector. On Wall Street, the Dow lost 249 points. The Nasdaq dropped 176.
After a sluggish year for Canada's housing market, a survey suggests this fall could bring a bit more stability. RE/MAX Canada says almost 65% of the prospective buyers it surveyed say they feel now is a good time to buy a house. Home prices in most Canadian markets have started to drop. RE/MAX says the average home price across the country is expected to decrease by 6.5% this fall.
The federal government has set a 100-day deadline to deal with headaches at the Canada Revenue Agency. Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne says it's clear the CRA is not meeting Canadian standards. He says the first problem to solve are the long delays at CRA call centres. Champagne's statement comes as Ottawa plans more spending cuts across the service. The Union of Taxation Employees says more than 3,000 jobs have been cut from the CRA since last May, and services will only get worse if budget cuts continue.
Canadian convenience chain Alimentation Couche-Tard has seen its earnings drop. It's down 5% year over year. The Quebec-based company, which keeps its books in U.S. dollars, reported $782.5 million in net earnings during the first quarter. That's a drop from $790.8 million the same time last year. The company's latest earnings come after Couche-Tard pulled its proposal to buy the parent company of its rival, 7-Eleven, in July.
A U.S. federal judge has ruled that Google's online search business is an illegal monopoly. However, the judge's ruling spares the company from some of the harsher penalties suggested by the Department of Justice. Google will not have to sell off its Chrome browser, but will no longer be allowed to have exclusive search deals. The judge also ruled that Google will now have to share index and user interaction data with its competitors to, quote, deny Google the fruits of its exclusionary acts.
Kraft Heinz is splitting into two companies again, breaking up a decade-old merger. The company says a close review prompted the move, and a transaction is expected to close in the second half of next year. The deal intends to help Heinz expand its sales on grocery store shelves. On one side of the split will be global taste elevation, so that will include Heinz, Philadelphia cream cheese, and Kraft mac and cheese brands. While North American grocery stores will continue to include legacy brands like Maxwell House, Kraft Singles, and Lunchables.
Disney has agreed to pay $10 million to settle allegations by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission that it's been unlawfully collecting the personal data of children. The FTC filed its complaint on Tuesday, saying Disney violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule, also known as COPPA. According to the complaint, Disney failed to properly label its YouTube videos as made for kids and did not inform its child-targeted audience that it was tracking their data. The mislabeling is also alleged to have exposed children to age-inappropriate YouTube features.
Okay, we're taking a quick break right now. Brian is going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast.
6:24 is the time on this third morning of September. Looking at right to our MTO traffic cameras. We'll start with the skyways. First of all, the Garden City Skyway. That's the west side. Looking at the sunrise. Well, not quite sun yet, but getting brighter. Here's the top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, starting to get quite busy coming out of Stony Creek, Toronto bound towards us, as you can see there. Nothing at Brodie Road. Looks good here at Sheridan through Mississauga. Dipping into the 403, going through Mississauga at Winston Churchill. Nothing there either. So please take it carefully this morning. Looking at our temperature right now, we're sitting at 13 degrees for Hamilton, 14 Mississauga, 16 Grimsby, 17 into Toronto. So seasonal temperatures now 23 for the daytime high and 12 degrees for the overnight low. We beat the high yesterday. We'll beat it again today. Those are our sun times. We get about just over 13 hours of daylight for the day today, and we will have that sunshine. And those are our records for today. For school today, first bell this morning should be about 17 degrees, lovely sunshine, blue skies, and that's the way it'll be with the sun after school and a 26-degree high. Then you factor in the humidity, it'll feel like 29, so a warm one. I used this shot yesterday at my old high school, Burlington Central High, but it was a quiet day yesterday because Halton wasn't back in school, but it's going to be a busy day there today. So 26 today, humidex 29 in the sun. 15 tonight, showers, possible thunderstorms, maybe about 5 millimeters. Tomorrow 10 to 15 millimeters. That shower thunderstorm scenario will linger in the morning, then we'll start to see some clearing in 19 tomorrow. Showers, could linger into Friday, even into Saturday, but then the sun will come back on the weekend. 19 Saturday, 18 Sunday, and then it gets warmer, 20 and 23 Monday and Tuesday. That's your forecast. Annette, Rick.
Okay, an astronaut has captured a rare light show. Where else but from space? It's their office space.
Yeah, now usually the northern lights have a little more of a greenish hue, but one NASA astronaut captured an amazing crimson-lined aurora orbiting Earth. Red auroras like this one only happen 2 or 3 times during an astronaut's 6-month mission to the International Space Station. Their color depends on the type of gas and where that gas is located in the atmosphere. Back here on Earth, this special edition of the Northern Lights were seen in some parts of Canada and across several states. That is pretty.
It's so beautiful. Have you ever seen the Northern Lights?
I have. I used to work in Fort McMurray, Alberta, and we used to see them all the time.
Oh, yeah. That would be beautiful.
Yeah, spectacular. Beautiful. Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live. Good morning. Yeah, like the more green and blues.
Yeah.
Compared to the...
I remember